Sounds good.
Alrighty, here we go. Hi, Jess.
Hi, Lauren.
How are you?
I'm good.
Sunday night, back on regularly scheduled programming.
Yes.
Finally.
And the end of an extremely long 4th of July weekend.
4th of July. Took it out of me. Too much eating. Realized I need to go on a diet ASAP.
So many hot dogs.
Not just one. Multiple.
Not like Lisa Rinna, who goes, just one a year. Okay, Lisa Rinna. I can't stop after one.
Never. Okay, so tonight we're going to talk about Real Housewives of Dubai. We actually have 2 episodes to cover. And then we also have Below Deck Med and then the usual suspects.
Yes.
I must say, Real Housewives of Dubai is getting good.
Yes, it is.
I think Talene is like the secret sauce.
I
Breakout.
love her. I've seen different Bravo accounts have, those little polls, and it's like, how are you liking Talene so far? Love her. Okay, meh, or I'm not watching. Love her is in the majority.
Yeah.
I've seen it a few times, and I agree. I'm voting love her when I do the poll too. So I think she's resonating with a lot of fans.
I feel like not many housewives do it well, where she's causing drama and in the mix, but also highly relatable.
Yes.
Which is like, that feels really good. So anyway, we start the episode. So we're on episode 3. If anybody's watching, Talene is working out. So speaking of Talene,
yes.
and she's kind of, her storyline is becoming this whole idea around that her husband wants another boy. And she doesn't necessarily want to do that. She wants to stay in the game with her career. I hate, by the way, when husbands like announce, like Joe Gorga does this all the time, or just like that manly, like vibe of like, I want a boy.
I know.
It's like, you can control that.
I was so annoyed by that. I was like, yeah, that means you need to do IVF if you want a boy to guarantee. Like, that's not.
It's not like a guarantee just to like call that out.
Yeah.
Message the universe. I want a boy.
And I was a bit of an eye roll, but I can't, again, she's relatable. I don't blame her. I laughed when she did the workout class and she even said, I haven't done this in a while. And I was like, oh, girl, you need the storyline. They had to be like, Talene, what are you trying to promote? And she's like, oh, well, I used to do these workout classes. That would be me too if someone suddenly started filming. I'd be like, you better believe I have all these hobbies I just haven't been keeping up with.
Jessica, her body's banging though. I'm like, can I please get that workout class?
But then when they're showing them lifting the tires out in the desert, I would pass out. I would literally collapse. It's too hot for an outdoor workout.
They all look amazing for how hot these scenes are.
Yeah.
Like later on, there's a desert scene and it's 99 degrees. And they're all looking pretty matte.
I literally commented on that dinner that it said it was 99. And some of them are wearing not like the lightest clothing either.
No. And they're matte. It's not like a sweaty, drippy mess.
I know. Are they just getting touch up after touch up that we're just not seeing? Or have their bodies like just so acclimated to that?
Maybe that.
Temperature.
Let's see. Then we quickly cut to Caroline and Sergio packing. And they have this very weird blow up where Sergio is bothering her as she's trying to do something for the house.
Yes.
And then their gay friend Michael is like popping in just to get camera time. Jessica.
Yes.
That was so weird why he was popping in.
The camera.
Yeah. Hates that they're living there, but loves the camera.
Yeah, I was going to say he really was caught in the middle because he's like, oh, I want them out, but damn, I love a camera on me.
I feel bad for Sergio in this scene because the one thing I will say is it's clear she runs the finances, because he probably has no money close to hers. The house is in her name. Yeah. She's doing everything for the house.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like you would feel a little, like, out of it.
Yeah, and I remember it might have been episode 1 or it was even the end of season 1. Caroline was talking about how tough it is to get a mortgage.
Yeah.
That actually, I think that was episode 1 of this new season. And she wasn't joking. She had to have a health assessment done on her. Do you remember her saying that?
No.
She goes, I was running on a treadmill with one of those bands around my waist. Like, they don't give out mortgages easily, I guess, in Dubai.
Wow.
But I agree. How weird is it then that someone, probably usually the man in Dubai, has such the upper hand that houses aren't in both of your names as spouses.
But I think it's not in Sergio's because he hasn't lived in Dubai long.
Right. Yeah. He didn't have residency or something long enough.
The one thing that drives me nuts with Sergio is he calls her honey. He says honey so much, Jessica. Honey, honey, honey. I'm like, shut up.
I wondered how much they were editing in when he was trying to interrupt her, but he clearly did it quite a few times, and we've all been there when you're stressed and like the patience is wearing thin and someone is literally almost like just poking you.
My husband does that all the time.
Trying to get your attention. So I totally related to Caroline, but she then, of course, is always harsh, where she called him a gnat. Like, get out of here being a gnat.
Yeah. I mean, and Mike is nicer to Michael than him. I mean, you get it a little bit of why he's getting so irritated.
Yeah.
Then we cut to Ayan and her missing tooth. She's got, the one thing I finally dawned on me, like, Ayan has no storyline. What is her name? Chanel Ayan.
Yes.
For some reason, they all call her her last name.
Speaking of that, I noticed, have they ever filmed in her house?
No, Jessica, I was just about to say that.
Where does she live?
She has no background. She has no storyline.
Yeah.
The only thing we hear of her is she drops grenades in her confessionals about her childhood.
Yeah, like...
And you're just like, it's like Mary Cosby style. Remember in like Salt Lake City when Mary Cosby would be like, well, I married my grandpa. And everyone's like, wait, what? Can we go back to that?
And that one hilarious story when she was talking about a parishioner that fell in a like tree or down in a mountain in a car.
Yeah.
And you're sitting there like, and then the little girl was like, was she okay? Mary's like, she died.
It's just like these hot liners in her confessional, but she does not have a story at all.
I agree. I mean, she's a model, and a little bit they showed that she's trying to start. Was it now I don't even remember. Was it a modeling agency or a makeup?
Fragrance?
Makeup.
I don't know.
I mean, that's purely because she's like, okay, I'm on TV. What can I create? But yeah, I mean, they show her husband. They've shown her son. But it dawned on me, we have never seen her house.
We've never seen her house. She really gives very little actual visibility into her current family life, other than she drops all of these like salacious details about the traumas of her childhood and her mom. So coming back to the missing tooth, she drops on camera how her mom just pulled out her teeth.
Yanked it out.
And nobody says, why did she do that? No one says, like, can you give us more details? Everyone's just like,
it was like infected, and she lived in a small village, and that's just how you dealt with it.
And it was just like, oh, okay, yeah, you have no teeth.
What she really should do is have a ghostwriter write a memoir, because if those stories are true, she has got stories for days.
It's
about
shocking
what has happened.
I literally thought of, like, I was like Biden's face in the debate when she's like saying some of this stuff, like, holy cow, can we go back?
And she does say it so casually. We're like, I'm sorry, did she just say what I think she said?
And nobody questions it. Everyone's just like, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, okay, Chanel, whatever you say.
Good point.
Yeah. So they're trying to like see her age,
right?
Which is again just another crazy
Shocking.
thing that she does not know her
actual age. Because I wrote this down. Her mom was actually 80, not 65 when she died. So that's 15 years.
Off by that much?
and so Chanel is now worried that because I think she's supposed to be 30.
No. Her son's like 20-something.
We need to Google.
No.
Wait, let me
They're
Google.
trying to
I'm
decide. Chanel currently thinks she's younger than Caroline Stanley.
Right.
So she thinks she's mid-40s, I think. And now the debate is she actually in her low 50s?
Oh, right. So she's 46 years old right now.
As far as we know.
But the mom is off. The mom is 15 years different. So Chanel thinks that maybe she's older.
That's...
So we cut to then Brooks planning the son's birthday. And, okay, so this is a very small scene. Like, we don't have to go into it. The one thing I wanted to get your take on, did you catch how she casually says that she had a contract with her husband where she got full custody and then he doesn't pay for anything with the son?
Yeah.
First of all, that little contract's called a prenup. That's what it's called, Brooks. Like trying to act like it's some mysterious, because Zoran's some big businessman that she had to enter in a contract. It's called a prenup. And it's really odd because she got full custody and then he pays for nothing. But it seems like he's paying for her
business stuff. I know.
So something just smelled off on that.
I think that about a lot of these Dubai women. I also wrote down about Sarah. She goes, when I was in Germany meeting with my investors, that's how she's saying she met that hot guy. And I'm like, what business meetings are you doing in Germany? I'm
Oh my
so
God.
confused. And then that woman, Saba, is her business partner. Like, we need to...
Jessica, I have so much to say about Sarah right now. So first of all, we know she does not have a business, because if she had a business, we would see it.
Yeah,
on TV.
it would be
point
promoted.
blank. Period. I'm like, every housewife alive shows what they
Their
are.
thing,
They
yeah.
are bringing forward. So we get this small ass little clip of her and Saba talking about weird drops that you put in your like drink or something. Did you see that?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even research it. I didn't look into
Neither
it.
did I.
But it's so micro. She's not even talking about it. Like, she doesn't even bring it forward. And then second, Sarah uses buzzwords like a bro in finance uses buzzwords.
Yeah.
Like the synergy, backflow, overflow of the projections of EBITDA. Like my investors that I meet with, it's like, of what?
Yeah.
I feel like Paige on Summer House when I'm like, of what?
Yeah.
What are you the
Yeah.
CEO of?
Let's get this. Let's nail this down.
I mean, what do you think? Like, I haven't Googled her much.
Neither. I know. Maybe that says a lot that I'm like I don't even care
Yeah.
enough, other than my red flag is up. Like, you seem like a bullshitter.
Yes.
So I'm getting that a lot with these women, but that's what makes it interesting, because you are kind of like, what will they uncover next?
Right.
Will I catch them in a lie, potentially,
Right.
of something
And
that
you kind of
doesn't
feel
make
bad.
sense?
They're new to the franchise, but but the franchise is old. So
Yes.
our sensors are all high on what
We know
is-
all the tricks
Yes.
that these housewives
Yes.
have used for years and years.
Then we go back to Caroline, and Caroline's whole storyline, which I'm kind of ready for it to be done, is her moving into her house. Did you see? It was a very small comment, but Caroline said they're finally moving in, and her sons have not been living with them, and now they were finally coming back.
Yeah.
And that's like, where were they living?
Exactly. Yeah, she said that, and it was like, because as far as I know, her ex-husband is still
In
in
London.
London?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he's there, as far as I know.
And you said this before, but it's like, Caroline, if you have so much money, why are you living with that friend Michael?
Right.
Other than for the show, like. But,
It's so strange.
but their room is such a mess that it can't be just for the show. Like,
They are
there's so much
truly
shit
living there,
everywhere.
yeah.
Like, it's clear.
Her closet is everywhere. Yeah.
So it's like, where were the sons living? And like,
Well, then it made me think, are they in a boarding school? And I'm like,
Oh.
like the thing you did that was so traumatic. Like,
right.
just, I mean,
That was a little fishy.
Generation after generation
Yeah.
repeating itself.
I got like a whiff of like, wait, what do you mean by that, Caroline?
Your underage children haven't
Yes.
been living with you. I know.
Yeah.
I thought that was so weird.
Anyway, okay, so one thing that you caught that I want to go back to, because it's actually mentioned in both episodes, is Yasmin at this party previously. Like, there's multiple people who are saying, like, her comments at that party were so kind of rude and
Yeah.
out of pocket.
Yeah.
Sergio says it. Chanel Ayan says
Yeah,
it later.
Talene brought it up to
Talene.
Caroline.
Oh, yeah, Talene.
Yeah.
And Jessica, you caught that, and I was kind of like, oh, whatever. 17-year-old probably had a drink or two at the party.
But it is so disrespectful. I
Like-
mean, never been in the position to have a stepfather that's only like 10 years older than you. So
Right.
weird setup. But yeah, she was getting a little too like big for her britches and making fun of him.
Yeah, and it's shocking that you caught that, because it's mentioned so many times. Dubai's doing this weird thing where they're clearly filming all of it, but then they're cutting back to like moments that we're not seeing.
Yeah.
Which that to me is kind of weird. Like, I'm like, did the editors not think that was going to be a key moment, and then people are talking about it, so
And
then
they used it in a
Yeah.
later. Yeah, that is true. I haven't
don't
thought
know.
about how they're kind of piecing it together. But yeah, we are getting a lot of cutbacks from like a previous party. You know,
Yeah.
like, why didn't you show that to me last week when the
It
party
seems
was
like
happening?
Yasmin was like running around like wild.
She was a menace.
Menace.
I noticed too, though, and maybe this is probably because of her upbringing again, but Stanbury is not precious when people mention her kids.
Interesting.
Teresa Giudice
Yes.
would fly off the handle if someone
Right.
said, I think your daughter was being a little disrespectful.
Yes.
Caroline's just like, I know, but I told like Yasmin to stop. You
Yeah.
know, like she's very never like, don't bring up my kids.
Yeah, and she actually, when Yasmin later on talks about like how she was raised by nannies
Yeah.
most of her childhood, Caroline actually disagrees with her.
Yeah.
Like most moms, I think, would say like, you know, it troubles me that she thinks that. Caroline's like, that's wrong.
That's not true.
I was running a business, so I don't care.
She was running that gift company
library.
that
Gift library.
you had
It's like, oh, Caroline. That's like us saying we're running our podcast.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
our
that's
35
why.
followers.
It's a lot of work.
It is.
But then there was one thing just kind of at the end that it was Caroline being really blunt about her marriage when she was saying, I could totally see it just fizzling out in 10 to 15 years.
Yeah.
She was like, just, I think, trying to be realistic. But it was also then in my head, I was like, that's just so sad.
Yeah, right.
She fully thinks that Sergio will leave her once she's that bit older.
You know what? It was giving me the same energy. Remember Real Housewives of New York when Carol Radswell was like, I only have 3 good summers left?
She was dating that young chef, Adam. Yeah.
And by the way, those 3 summers have passed. Like, at this point,
but she's still thriving from what I've seen.
Okay, so then they end the episode with the Queen dinner.
Yeah.
Which, again, they show up late. Ayan is sitting there, I think, for an hour. Chanel Ayan.
But that one, I wasn't sure if that was a fair late arrival. We never heard what time they were all told.
Right.
We were never given a come at this time, and we don't know what time Chanel showed up for her own thing.
Well, she said she announced them when they came up and sitting here
You're
for an hour.
Late. Okay.
Again.
Who shows up to a dinner an hour late? I would fully expect to come and everyone's on dessert.
Yeah.
I would be totally like, that's fair. I would have been starving.
I would have ordered.
Yeah.
Chanel Ayan is like dancing. Did you see that? That was so cringy. I'm like,
well, again, when she, in quotes, hosts an event, it has to be somewhere because it's not at her freaking house. So it's always at a restaurant or something.
I mean, when you and I are late, though, I feel like I'm texting you every minute with, like, play-by-plays. Like, I just got in the Uber. Okay, the Uber's driving. Okay, I've hit traffic.
Us. We're so type A, and, like, I hate to think that I'm making you wait.
Okay, so going back to Sarah, because Sarah says something at this dinner that I have to get your opinion on.
Oh.
She says that she wants to get married again. She announces that at the dinner.
Yeah.
And she says, I don't date to date. I date to marry.
Yeah.
Jessica, I was so annoyed when she said that. If you were saying that to me and you were getting ready to be on your 3rd marriage, whoever that may be, I would be like, I think maybe it's time to date, Jessica.
Okay, I didn't know where you were going with this because I was like, I did have that mentality when dating, but I was 0 marriages in, so I was taking dating seriously.
Yeah.
But oh my God, that is hilarious. If you were going on your 3rd, maybe date.
Why does everyone's like, we love that for you, we love that, and it's like, that's not a women empowerment thing. I think you're being hasty with your choices, and I have a tidbit of gossip on this that I'll reveal later on, but I think you're being hasty with your choices, and I do think the religion, the cultural thing is playing a big part.
She brought that up a lot in the most recent episode,
where you can't really have any intimacy until you're married.
I know, and it's like I see such pros and big cons to that approach,
right?
Because I think people just
jump.
And what's interesting is she uses the culture during her dating, but the culture isn't a problem when she wants the divorce,
right?
Because normally the culture is you're in it for
right.
life.
You can't
you work through whatever. And granted, we've heard some bad things. It sounds like there was maybe even physical abuse, definitely emotional and verbal going on. But so I fully support her getting divorced.
Right.
But I'm just saying it's like, oh, okay, well, you're pretty loosey-goosey with the religious aspect.
Right. You use it when you want it. We use it when you need it.
Yes,
I think at the time of your 3rd wedding, if you were still walking on the aisle in a white dress, I would say to you, Jessica, let's do a courthouse, please.
I was going to say, don't fucking invite me to a full-on wedding if it's your 3rd. I will not attend.
And also a huge pet peeve is like when people are at their 3rd weddings and there's toasts around like, you're the love of my life. It's like, well, that's actually inaccurate because you're not the love of the life. You're the 3rd.
You're the current love of life, but there were a few before you.
The other thing that you called out, which I wrote down at this Queen dinner, Talene kissing Caroline Stanberry's ass to a maximum.
So hard.
Jessica, you called it out first.
She wants to be Team Stanberry.
Yes. And it even happens next episode where she full on leaves Brooks in the dust a little bit.
Yeah.
She rides with Caroline in the Lamborghini,
yeah.
Like she's just, desert. You can tell she's trying to kind of make sure the alliance is tighter.
Yeah. But okay, I'm not saying I don't blame her, because if her and Brooks truly had a years and years long friendship, then it's not cool that she's jumping ship so easily. But at the same time, I totally understand that you don't want to be going down with like lone wolf. If you truly like these other women, it's kind of like, I'm not letting you make me the outcast as well because you're having all these disputes.
Right.
Whereas I'm the newbie. I want to make new friends. Yeah. She could probably be towing the line a little better because she's for sure like pissing Caroline Brooks off.
Yeah, and she can see it.
Yeah, it's a little too much in her face.
Well, and she tells Caroline Stanberry, like, you're a really good mentor to every, like, there was a level of kissing ass that was
and then
beyond
the cut to Lisa Milan. She's a good mentor for 50-year-old Instagrammers or influencers. Did you see that snarky
I mean,
comment?
that was, Tilleen, too much.
Lisa Milan has been really quiet so far.
Yeah.
We haven't gotten much from her.
No, and we had her storyline was really about her mom coming to Dubai, but that was really so short.
I know.
That was a minute.
Yeah, I think we're going to get a lot more of her as Ayan and Stanberry become closer, because then I think the same thing we're seeing right now, Brooks getting pissed about the shifting alliances, and I think Lisa is going to be getting pissed in later
It's
parts.
like foreshadowing it when
Yeah.
they're at the desert dinner later on and Stanberry's holding...
She's like, I'm her new best friend.
Yes, holding her hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
It's happening.
It's weird. We've never had, I think, a season where they're so worried about who's friends with who, other than New Jersey with Teresa and...
The line is drawn in the sand there.
What's that other woman's name? Teresa and...
Melissa,
yeah, thank you.
Ooh, she won't like that you can't remember her name.
Well, I heard she's getting booted off the show.
I mean, I think they all need to be booted, honestly.
Yeah.
New Jersey needs a revamp.
A huge shake-up.
Yeah, there's my hot take. Get rid of Teresa Giudice. Sick of her.
I saw that they're getting rid of all of Melissa and her alliances.
Oh,
I don't know if that's true.
Margaret, Rachel. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So then we're getting introduced. We actually got introduced last episode, but now he becomes like more camera worthy. Is Sarah's love interest?
Oh, yes.
Jessica, what do you think of him? I have so many thoughts.
Well, so attractive. I mean,
super hot.
Yes, male model, gorgeous. Seems like I didn't realize that when they said he's Muslim as well, so that obviously tracks for her. Yeah, but the whole I'm dating for marriage and he lives in Germany probably makes it a little tough. And I did not love the son being so involved.
Okay, so here's my tidbit about Sarah. I really have a bad vibe from her. Okay, so she, first of all, introducing the son way too soon. Period.
So selfish.
Like 1,000%.
Yeah.
Way too soon. The son saying that to Akeem around like, when are you going to be my stepdad?
Yeah.
And she acting like, oh, don't say that.
No, don't do it.
It's like, you've clearly talked to the son about this.
Yes, yeah.
Having a date with him where he's only come to Dubai twice before and you've been quote unquote friends. Like, she hasn't even promoted him to boyfriend yet.
Right.
And she's meeting the son.
Yeah. She made some comment where she said, I want my son to assess him and like I need them to be good, but it is risky because I'm not even sure about him. And I'm like, that is the most selfish thing. You want your son to be your like wingman first.
Yeah.
And to tell you if they like him enough.
Yeah.
And then you'll decide if you think this guy's worthy. It's insane to me. Most people with children are so, you are not meeting my kids till I know you're someone who's going to be around. She has the opposite approach.
Right.
Meet my son instantly, and I'm going to test you watching him.
Yeah.
That is so unfair to the son. I'm now not shocked how, I think, bothered and, I don't want to say disturbed, but like that child does have some issues from things he's seen from previous relationships.
Right. That she maybe is not like tempering. It's like, that's crazy. Okay, so Chanel Ayan drops that Sarah was dating the guy from 365 Days. I don't know what the movie is.
Yeah.
But his name is Michael Marone, I want to say.
Okay. I also tried Googling that. And there were a lot of movies that had the number 365, so I was like, wait, which one?
Jessica, I Googled him and Sarah. There is, I was shocked, troll accounts for them.
What?
Specifically Sarah, where they call her a snake. It's like these accounts are They're like super harsh. So Sarah dated Michael Marone. He got divorced, or I think he broke up with either his wife or his co-star that he was dating at the time. Then they dated. So these accounts, now you can never believe the trolls, but they said that, first of all, she was moving way too fast with him. There's video of her calling him my love, which is what you and your husband call each other, only after like 2 months of dating, which they thought was too fast. They reference her as a snake emoji throughout many of the posts. Oh, okay. They said that she claimed that she could do a better job managing him than his Italian acting agencies. So she took on the role of his manager. And then there's video of her like walking the red carpet with him as his manager, trying to get interviews like on the sidelines.
This is more evidence she does not have companies. She's trying to get a paycheck. She's trying to be his manager.
They go on and on. Like, they capture a lot of videos then they clearly kind of break up, Michael Marone and Sarah, and they capture a lot of her aftermath of like crazy cuckoo-ness, like posting videos of herself, going on and on about cryptic things that really are related to him. And then there's a video of him, and he got her name tattooed on his wrist. But Jessica, this is after they broke up. Michael Marone is like showing the camera, like, I've deleted my mistake. And it was her name, and he got it scratched off his arm.
How long were they dating roughly?
I don't think more than a couple of months.
Oh my God, he got a tattoo.
You got a tattoo.
Life lesson.
But so this all leads me, so these troll accounts are nasty. I mean, you cannot believe them in full. But the one thing that I do get the vibe of is that she moves way too fast.
Yeah.
And then she reels them in real tight, introduces them to the son. The son's asking, when are you going to be my stepdad? They've only met a couple of times.
They all get cold feet and hightail it out of there.
Yeah. Or she's crazy. Because she's like reeling them in so fast. I mean, I got this whole vibe from these accounts.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them that really hate on her.
I'm now not as curious to why she's still single. The more we're seeing into her dating life, it's starting to make more sense.
I think she acts really chill. Like, that's her whole brand, is like, I'm so chill, I'm so spiritual.
Yeah.
And she's beautiful.
She's the opposite, though.
And then she's a psycho.
Yeah.
Which these
slash your tires psycho.
And then Caroline invites everyone to the desert, which is kind of getting to the end of the epi.
Yeah.
Clearly running away from
episode.
Clearly running away from her in-laws. Did you get that?
Yes, hilarious.
Oh my
She's
God.
like, I really like them. I didn't at all plan this day to be gone with the girls.
And it's like, no, you're clearly running away. Also, I thought she was wearing a robe in that scene, Jess, and that was her actual outfit. Like, I thought you full on had like a powder room robe on, like, oh, I'm getting ready. And then I was like, oh no, that's what you're wearing.
That's what you're doing. It was the summer house scene when Amanda and Lindsay's like, let's get you dressed. And she's like, this is what I'm wearing. And they looked like pajamas.
Yeah, that was the days of when the pajama outfits were still in. Did you ever wear that? I never.
No, because I couldn't ever get it out of my head that they weren't pajamas.
Right.
Anytime I would wear it, I'm like, it's a cute set, but they're pajamas.
Yeah. I don't know what this desert dinner is for, but clearly we're going to get a part 2 of it. There's like a lot of like shade being thrown, a lot of jabs, you know.
Yeah.
I
didn't think the little prank about the van was really needed. Just have them rock up to the sports cars. You know, the whole pile into that van. Caroline tried to pretend their Sprinter van was broken.
My gosh. And that was, somebody said this online, so I'm not going to take credit for it, but it was giving, remember Vicky back in Real Housewives when she was saying,
you sent
a family van?
The family van?
And everyone's like, we can't fit in that.
Chanel's dress took up 3 seats.
So crazy. The last thing I want to say, because they kind of go at Sarah at this moment, they talk about how they haven't kissed.
Oh yeah.
He also seems, which we didn't talk about this, Akeem, her lover, also being on camera so soon.
Yeah.
And he's a model. I'm like, there's clout chasing here going on.
Yeah.
He's talking about how he's a model on camera, like all of that.
He loves it too. Gotta be suspicious.
Why is nobody saying that to her? Like, I'd be like, whoa, honey boo boo, slow down.
Yeah.
He wants his spot on camera.
Right. I know. It's so hard to say which is better because we've also seen plenty of Bravo relationships where the person won't be on and then that ends up being their downfall too.
Right.
Because they're not willing to like join their lives.
Yeah.
So I guess.
I mean,
it's
please,
tough.
Lindsay Hubbard, please listen to this. Like, please bring your boyfriend on camera. We have to see him. Well, you cannot
Baby
be.
daddy.
Please, he cannot be a baby daddy and off camera.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
no
so true.
Lala. No pulling a Lala.
Oh, yeah. Well, we don't want to see Rand.
No pulling,
so please keep
yeah.
him away.
No pulling Dan. No, just please
yeah,
come on camera,
Dan.
please. Okay, so that's kind of. I mean, we end at the desert dinner. Do you have any other thoughts on Dubai?
No, my only thoughts though, well, you've been to Dubai and you guys had that story. The whole time I'd be sitting there going, is there a snake like by my feet?
Yeah.
I don't think I could relax at a desert dinner.
Our desert dinner was at night, and we had no staff because we didn't pay for that.
Didn't you have like one flashlight?
There was a couple lanterns. Kunal did not stay seated the entirety of the desert dinner because his head was on a swivel, looking at every shadow, making sure it was not
Did
an
something
animal.
move over there?
It was compounded by the fact that on the drive out, the guide was telling us the phone would not have service in the exact spot that we were supposed to call him to get him to come get us. It was a Nokia brick phone. Our phones did not work. And that phone did not even have service in the spot that they chose for our desert dinner.
So you had to like climb up a hill or
Yes.
something?
Yes, you had to walk 100 paces into the darkness to get the service to call the guide back.
Oh my God. And the whole time are you kind of like, don't forget you dropped us? Like, will someone come back even if we can't make contact?
The other thing was it was the staff's night out that night.
Oh,
and they
no.
were having a big bonfire in another part of the camp.
Like everyone's drunk. No
in
one's
Dubai.
coming for
I was
us.
like, we sat down. That desert dinner was about 15 minutes max. I mean, and that was me holding Kunal there for 10 minutes of the 15.
We got to at least eat some of this food.
He's
we
like-
need our strength in case no one comes.
I was thinking of things that we would throw at the snake. You know, it was not relaxing.
Oh my God.
Oh, good. All right. So let's see. Do you want to do Bravo? Do you have any Bravo in the headlines?
Not off the top of my head. I'm sure there's a million. So do you have some?
We've posted a few, but
Oh, yeah.
the one I wanted to ask you about is that there seems to be a tip going around on Dumas about that Danielle. It's heavily implying Danielle is hooked up with Carl. Have you seen this?
Yes.
That
Yeah.
seems bogus.
I saw someone say that they think it was a last-ditch rumor effort for Danielle to get cast.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's very apropos for Danielle.
And it's like, okay, so if we continue that forward, that means Danielle was putting the rumor out there to make producers think that. If they actually thought that and she got cast again, was she going to hook up with
Right,
Carl to
right.
keep it going?
Right.
How desperate was she going to go with this?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I'm happy you thought that was a lie, too. I do think Dumas stuff, it's like where there's smoke, there's fire. I do think that most times with Dumas,
Yes.
but this one felt so...
and we know Danielle leaks to
Yes.
Dumas. with
And
the
we know
Craig.
she's hooked up with Carl before. Didn't
Yeah.
they try and date briefly?
Yeah, like they dated a little bit. So.
She gave him like an HJ somewhere in a cab or something, if I remember.
OTPHJ.
Yeah. So let's move to Below Deck Med.
All right. So I feel like the main point of this episode is the Brie versus Elena fighting over Joe eyebrows.
Yeah. So I think the episode starts, they're still on their night out and they come back and they all get in the hot tub. And Elena goes to bed.
Elena. Because she thinks, like, I want a man who like works for it, and I'm just not going to be up there and make it easy. So what does he do?
He
Goes for the easy one.
He goes for Brie. First of all, Elena has an OnlyFans account. We've mentioned this.
Yes.
So don't act like you're playing hard to get.
Yeah.
Like, I'll pay $7 and I'll see the whole shenanigans on there. On that.
Joe might even be a subscriber
Yeah.
already.
He clearly is. First of all, also I must note the hot tub they get back into is disgusting and tiny.
It's so small.
How do they all fit?
And that freaking mega yacht not have a bigger hot tub for real.
It's tiny. It's a plunge pool for
Yeah.
2 people, and there's
Yeah.
like 8 people in it. And then Joe and Brianna are like staring at each other for a really long time before they make out.
That was so weird. They were staring into each other's souls.
It's just cringy. You just have to look out the window during it.
And Aisha had an amazing comment. Did you catch it?
No.
She kind of was like clocking them, eyeing each other up. And she's like, all right, time for me to go to bed. And then in her confessional, she was like, they're going to have their clothes off before I have my pajamas on.
But I don't think she did a good job of expressing that she was interested in Joe.
Right.
Like, we see the confessionals of them talking about it, but as far as Bree knows, they had that convo in the washroom where there was like, are you interested in? And Elena's like, no.
Right. That's where
And then Elena went to bed. That is number one rule. You do not leave. If you're trying to get a guy to like you, you do not leave that critical moment.
End of the party.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're getting in the hot tub all together. Like, I'm sorry, you don't leave that. The strategy of being single. You do not leave that moment.
Yeah. It shows you don't care enough.
You don't care enough.
Like, I'm going to go to bed.
Yes.
That's given Joe, the vibes like you're not interested. But, like, Elena takes it to another level with, I think she for sure then goes on this power trip.
Yeah.
Of being like, I am your superior on this boat.
Well, and Aisha is, like, suspiciously missing, during this whole situation.
She has a piece of glass in her thumb.
That made my skin crawl. The fact that she, like, brought the piece of glass back. First of all, we didn't see it live on camera.
No.
I wish we would have, but...
Only Aisha, I thought, would spin it positive that she was getting stitches. She's like, I love gore. Oh my God, I got stitches.
Oh my gosh.
She was excited that she got stitches.
Ew, yeah, that was so...
She's such a happy weirdo.
Yeah, right. And so while she's gone, Ellie, like, decides to really take over number 2 and put Brianna in her place, but then also kind of use it as, like, a moment to, like, punish her for hooking up with Joe.
Yeah.
And then they're all talking shit to the cook, Jono, who's, like, egging both of them on. Like, yeah, girl, yeah. Oh, yeah, good idea, good point.
Jono's like, I'm about to be fired. I've got to focus on these meals. I don't really care about your petty drama.
And then Brianna goes in the kitchen. I thought this was so cringy. And she's, like, trying to act, like, sassy with Jono.
Yes.
And she says she's going to be passively spicy or something like that.
And then Sandy overhears it. Yeah.
And Sandy kind of, like, steps in like, what does that mean?
What does that mean?
Oh, my God. I was like,
Possibly
oh, my gosh.
spicy. I know.
It gave me the cringe of, like, when you're in high school and you're going to go out and drink and your mom overhears, like...
You planning it?
Yes. Like, it was that level of cringe. I was like, oh, my gosh.
She thinks she's such a badass.
Yeah, and then
Free.
immediately starts crying to Sandy. Like, tears immediately. Like, I'm just not myself.
If there's anything people need to know when they're about to be cast on Below Deck, everyone can fucking hear you from everywhere you are on the boat. There is, like, no safe space that someone isn't going to overhear you.
Oh, my God.
So, like, if it wasn't Sandy overhearing it, it was going to be Ellie overhearing her say that. Or it was going to be, someone on deck team who was going to repeat it to
She's
Ellie.
yelling back to Jono as she's walking down the steps.
Yeah.
Like, and then Sandy's only consoling is, but you're so likable. I wrote that down. She's crying. Sandy doesn't know why. Sandy doesn't get involved. She just goes, but you're so likable.
Also, that Brie doesn't scream likable to me.
No, that's why it was such a, like, cop-out, like, consoling move.
Just like a thing that you're like, well, I'll just go with that.
Yeah.
Did you catch who is a guest on this charter? Trishelle. I was like, oh.
Where's she from? Go ahead.
Traders.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we know her from, but she's actually from, was it Real World Road Rules?
Yeah,
like the challenge.
Yeah, I think she was way back in the day, Real World, and then she made her career. I think it was Vegas, like way back.
Oh my
like,
gosh, I think I watched Vegas.
Yeah.
That was what I still watched that show.
Yeah, and she was really a crazy animal. And then she made her career on Real World Road Rules Challenge. She was actually quite good at that. And then she went on Traders most recently.
Yes, cute.
And then they also had the model show of which they made the...
Okay, that was, oh my God. And then Elena was taking forever to put her slutty dominatrix costume on.
First of all, why did that outfit take so long? It was not that complicated.
I mean, unless, like, she was sweaty and, like, the pleather, or, like, the, like, latex was getting
I've been there.
stuck
I've been
on.
there. You can't get the leggings up. You can't get the pleather to go down.
Yeah.
Ross on Friends has been there
Yes.
in the bathroom.
Yep.
Yes. Can't get the leather
Needed,
pants
like,
up.
baby powder.
Yes.
But Aisha caught it, and I literally said it to Vince as we were watching it, that I was like, oh, this woman has a modeling agency. she's viewing this when she's like, I take my outfits she says, I take my costumes very seriously to Aisha, when Aisha kept radioing her, like, get up here. And then Aisha even goes, I think she thought this was her moment to get discovered.
Yeah. Well, I Googled her a little bit, and I wish everyone could see the picture that I'm found of, what's her name? Elena. It's like the outfit she has on is tape, basically, covering the bits and bobs. So, yeah, she does take her outfits very seriously.
Did you subscribe to
No,
her
I did not.
channel?
Believe me, I did not.
Oh, so she's putting this out there for free.
This was on Maxim.
She modeled for them?
Yeah. And then the last thing I think to note is that Bree is now actively sleeping with the boys in their cabin because she doesn't want to sleep with Ellie in their cabin.
Yeah.
So many thoughts here. Okay, so one, first of all, go sleep with Aisha and Gail. Like, go sleep with the girls.
Very true.
You don't need to go sleep with the guys in their room, especially the guy that you're
hooking up with that is causing all the drama with you and your cabin mate.
Second, he's clearly like, what the heck? I don't want her in here.
Yeah.
Because I think he actually wanted to hook up with Ellie.
Yeah.
But Bree was there. Again, that's why you don't go to bed.
Right.
And
I think Bree is actually now getting friend zoned because she's like in the room.
Yes.
And it was one of the guys,
yes.
Nathan and
let's be real,
Joe.
Ellie is a bombshell.
Yeah.
Like, Ellie could go on Love Island as the bombshell. You know, Bree is just a different taste. She's cheekier. She's funny. She's not on OnlyFans. Let's just say it like
likable.
that. She's likable. As Sandy said, you're so likable. Okay, so anything else on Below Deck, Matt?
No.
Okay, so now we're gonna move to Gen Z.
Gen Z. Okay, this is a quick one, but it's more about new slang that I didn't want us to not be aware of.
Okay,
so that
great.
if we start hearing
I'm going to take some notes during this.
Have you heard it at all when it's talking about aura points?
No.
Really?
No.
Okay,
No.
you're the one that's normally teaching me the slang. So, an aura is, it says, a lighthearted quantification of a person's cool factor.
Okay.
So it's quickly become the slang among teens, tweens, and 20-somethings. So you can earn or lose points, all completely arbitrary. But the kids are now saying, like, if you, like, walk into the classroom and you, like, trip, people would be like, minus 100 aura points.
Oh, really?
So, like, it's just become this thing. Or if you do something cool, people are then, like, gifting you aura points.
Oh, no.
It's just... So a teacher said he started hearing his students talk about max aura or max APs in the hallways. And they're just talking about getting points for mundane things. But... yeah, it says you stumbled a little bit, negative aura. Or you got the answer right in math class, max aura. Okay?
Ew.
So now I don't love it. I don't think I'm going to be incorporating it. But just that way, if you have a Gen Zer at work and they tell you got aura points, it's a compliment. But if they tell you got negative points, not a good thing.
Oh my god.
They're making fun of you.
I mean, the idea of doling out points, too, is
right.
just
and
like...
it's just completely made up and just...
And also, aura is...
like, your aura, I always think of, like, everyone has a different color.
Yeah, their energy. Their innate energy.
Right.
It's not like, did you walk into the room correctly?
Right.
Oh, Lord.
I'm going to use it on Vince, though.
Did the dishes.
Yeah.
I'll be max aura points.
I know. Just make him, like, try to be competing against himself to get more points.
Oh my God, can you imagine?
Doling them out for no reason.
Well, that's the worrisome thing. It's like, will they actually start tracking the points?
No.
Okay, never
That's where it's completely
just
made up.
a
No one at
stain.
the end of the day in high school is going, I have the most aura points. Like,
good.
not a
That's
scorecard.
the worrisome
Right,
side
yeah.
of it for me. Okay, let's move into conspiracy theories.
Yes.
Okay, so I have a little bit of a longer one about your girl Taylor Swift. And I say your girl because I don't like Taylor Swift.
Ooh.
I do like her music.
Okay.
And I do think she's a good artist. Her craft is good. But I just, as a person...
she annoys you.
Annoys me, yes.
That's fair.
Okay, Jessica, you like Taylor Swift, though. You have to draw the line in the sand here.
Yeah, okay, fine. Compared to you, I'm the same. Love her music. I think she does so much good. Like, I hear all about, like, where she donates money, and I think she does a lot of good with her power. But yeah, she's a little cringe at times.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. Okay. All right, so I saw this, actually, Andrew Schulz was talking about this, the comedian that we saw.
Yes.
I love him. There's a documentary about Taylor Swift and Scooter Braun on HBO Max called Bad Blood.
Oh, I need to watch that.
Yeah. There's 2 parts. One is Scooter's side, one is Taylor's side. Isn't that weird?
But they're not actually interviewed.
Yeah, they are.
Taylor sits down for it?
I think so. I mean, that's a good point. Maybe it's just a documentary about her, but she clearly gave clearance for this documentary.
Wow, okay. Damn.
And so Andrew Schulz goes on and on. Oh, it's on this YouTube clip called Flagrant Clips. It's a podcast, so you could go listen to it yourself. But he caveats and says he loves Taylor Swift, okay?
Okay.
So, but in this documentary, Taylor's had this happen to her a few times before, I think, but there's a lot of things that she basically created a perception of that aren't actually true.
Okay.
Number one being that Taylor has always maintained she was not allowed to buy her master. So the big thing of Scooter Braun is he basically bought Big Machine Records, which was her recording company.
Yep.
With that, he bought all of the IP that they own, which was her masters.
Yeah.
So the deal was like something like $300 million, and she was $140 million of it. So she was the biggest artist that they have.
Right.
They do have other artists,
Okay.
but she's just making the most money. Anyway, in buying the company, he got sold her master music.
Yeah.
And so she took to social media and she told everyone, Scooter Braun did not let me have the opportunity to buy my masters.
Yeah,
So that's
I
not true.
remember
So
that,
that basically is not true. The reasons why it's not true is first, Big Machine, that kind of record label, was first given her a deal that basically said, if you make a new album, we'll give you rights back to one of your masters. So that was like deal number one. She said no. I would get why you would say no to that.
Okay.
When Scooter Braun bought the company, in this documentary, it shows that he actually was communicating with somebody on her team, do you want to buy
Yeah.
the masters back?
Yeah.
And apparently, I think what was said was the price was too high. It was
Okay.
like, she was like, F this, I'm not buying that.
Yeah.
It came through in emails that the documentary has screenshots of, where basically she says something like, no, that's okay, I don't want to buy it.
Yeah.
Jessica, online, she has quotes out there that say, for years, I pleaded for a chance to my own work. Instead, I was giving an opportunity to sign back up to Big Machine Records and earn one album back at a time, one for every new contract. I walked away because I knew if I signed that contract, Scott would sell the label and thereby selling me and my future. She basically says, I wasn't given the opportunity to buy back my own music. Which is just
blatantly
wrong. It's wrong.
incorrect.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but when this was all happening a few years ago, for some reason it stuck in my head that email of the offer to buy was sent to her dad. Was there something about that? Her dad was copied on an email or something?
Andrew Schulz talks about this. I'm sure the documentary does it too. But basically, her dad was an investor in Big Machine record label.
Oh, okay.
And he claims that throughout all this deal...
Is that not a conflict of interest?
Yes. So he claims throughout this deal, he was not reading the emails that he was on. But on the emails, besides her dad, so if you believe that, besides her dad, there's somebody from Taylor's team on it. Not her dad's team, Taylor's team.
And I don't think it's a fair defense to say I didn't read an email that was sent to me.
Well, that
you
guy...
You can't say, you never offered. I didn't read
Right.
that email. How am I to know you didn't read it?
Her team was on it. Her team was on the effing email.
So a lot of people messed up, and she's
Yes.
then trying
and
to
that guy,
say.
by the way, has shortly after retired. Not after the documentary, but just after this whole debacle, he retired. So
Because
basically...
he was a manager for so many people.
Right.
Scooter, you're talking about?
No.
Oh,
just
sorry.
the guy, the person on her team that was
That
on
was
the emails.
copied.
Shortly after retired, after the whole debacle, which people think he got fired. Anyway.
Is he still alive? Can we check on him?
Good conspiracy theory. I will check.
Yeah.
So the reality is she claims she wasn't allowed to buy her master's. She actually was. She said, no, that's okay. I don't want to buy it. I think the sum was too high. Could you be offended by that still? Yes, absolutely. But the fact is you went to social media and you said you couldn't buy the master's.
Put out a totally different narrative. Yeah.
The second lie she told, which the documentary proves to be not true, is that she said she had to sign an NDA where she couldn't talk about Scooter Braun at all. And she didn't want to do that. And that was not true. She could not talk about the deal. The documentary shows she couldn't talk about the deal, which that's a normal part of deal making. You can't talk about the deal. So Andrew Schulz kind of sums it up as this, which I thought this was exactly like what I've been yearning for somebody to like say out loud because I've not been able to like articulate it. He goes, has there anyone been so iconic that is the best-selling artist of all time, and she's like literally the best artist of all time, but also manages such an image of being a victim. And he goes, it's really hard to do both, and she does it.
I just got the chills. I don't know.
Right?
That was a deep comment.
Like thinking about how she has made so much money off of taking down her boyfriends.
Yeah.
And no one ever walks away from listening to those songs as like, oh, John Mayer was in the right. It's always that he was in the wrong. Yes. And I'm like, thank you, Andrew Schulz. Like, that is a really eloquent way of saying of like
he
what.
summarized why you don't like
Yes.
her.
And I've never been able to put it into words.
It irks you.
Yes. That she has such a victim mentality while also being so freaking famous.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought that was good. So that's conspiracy theory number one.
Okay.
Is that there's just kind of a lot going on with this documentary that maybe without Taylor Swift. And he also goes into a little bit like it's kind of hard to find this documentary. Like you can't really find it quickly on HBO Max. It's like, so he thinks
Buried
Taylor's
a
team
little
is
bit.
potentially burying it a little. Yeah.
Ooh, well, they can't stop me. I will be searching for it.
Right?
Called Bad Blood.
Bad Blood on
Okay.
HBO Max. So you do have to have that subscription. But I also see it on Amazon. Okay, conspiracy theory number 2 is Biden.
A little political.
A little political. So Biden didn't have the greatest debate. I think anybody who watches the news would see that, you know, there's potentially calls for him to step down.
Yep.
The conspiracy theory of it all is that by the Democratic convention, they're going to move Kamala into the presidential role.
And that's coming up soon, right?
Yes.
In Chicago.
Yes. So the theory is that they're going to let the Republican convention happen, which is like right around the corner.
Yeah.
Because they don't want Kamala to be the face of the ticket while Trump throws red meat into the water around that.
Blood into the water.
Yeah. Republican convention. And then they're going to switch it at the convention or right before because Kamala is actually polling quite well against Trump.
Really?
Yes. Which is shocking. I didn't know this either.
Yeah.
And they're going to pull in a second VP on the ticket, and Biden will be gone.
Yeah. I've heard all these rumblings that, you know, stuff is being done in the background. I do wonder how much is Biden aware. Is he actually, there is the option that he is on board with this, and he's like, I will keep pretending for as long as you need me to,
Right.
till you get it all squared away behind me.
Yeah.
Or are they literally just going to do a little bit of a coup on it? Like,
Right, pull the rug out. Right.
yeah, like, well, and I know we're obviously
Well, and
talking about he might not have all his mental facilities, so he might
Right.
have no idea that
Right.
it's occurring.
That's option D. He has no
Yeah,
idea.
yeah.
Right. But either way, I mean, the numbers, they're trying to find somebody who could beat Trump, right? And so I didn't realize this, but Kamala polls pretty well against him, apparently.
Okay. It's going to be, I do feel like something we've never seen before is going to go down in this election.
Yeah, right.
Something
has to.
weird that we're going to be like referring back to all the laws of, is that able to happen?
Right.
Question mark?
Right. So a quick hitter on conspiracy theory number 2, but you have to touch on it at this point. I mean, it's so part of our culture. The meme game is strong with Biden. You have to say something, right? So you heard it here first. Kamala is going to be the president. That's the conspiracy theory. Biden will drop out. They'll pick a second VP.
Time stamp that. July 7th? 8th?
Lauren
What's
J.
today?
Lauren
July
J.
7th.
Klein. Copyright.
2024.
Verbal copyright. All righty. So that is it.
All right.
We got through it all.
Good stuff, Lauren.
Great talking to you, Jess.
You too.
Maybe we'll talk about that documentary at a later date.
Yes. I'm going to watch.
All right. Bye.
Bye.